and welcome. Did you know that in Canada alone, 1 in 5 will experience a mental health problem? Did you know by age 40, 50% of the population will have had a mental illness issue of some sort? Did you know that anxiety disorders affect 5% of the population? But, I beg to differ because in my experience, this is probably much higher. And did you know that suicide accounts for 24% of the deaths in the ages 15 to 24 category? These are actually stats taken from the Canadian Mental Health Association. I'm sure these stats are very similar in the USA. Hi, I'm Shannon, and I'm a natural bioenergetics specialist. I've been working with people all over Canada, United States, and beyond, sleuthing out their wellness needs and finding real solutions for real problems. The statistics I have just mentioned are growing exponentially, and therefore I have developed this package to aid people in these areas. I've taken material and information and experience over the last few years that I've used and put them into this terrific package made for easier access for those who need it. I'd like to say that this package is actually new, but honestly, it really isn't. It's the same stuff I've been using for years and the same stuff that's been giving me results. I've just assembled it into a nice little package that flows better and is easier to access. So what does this package entail? This program starts with an 8-week series of predefined, pre-recorded natural bioenergetic sessions right to your inbox that you can follow. These sessions help do a few things. First of all, it gets you used to what the natural bioenergetics technique is all about. Secondly, it covers common blanketed issues with people with poor mental health. Thirdly, it loosens the initial areas and allows us to dive more deeper into the areas in the private sessions, which is also included in the package. And fourthly, it begins the stabilization process. It may look faster for others, slower for yet more. So don't get frustrated when you work through them. These will be sent to you weekly, and there'll be once a week thing that'll come to your mailbox. You just have to work through the video and follow along and do what it tells you to do, and it'll explain it through the process. The next part of the package includes 4 live Zoom sessions with me. Hello. With these sessions, they're at a frequency of 2 per month because we want to spread it over the package and work with other issues that come up during the package. Now, they're going to dive deeper into issues around fears, worries, traumas, and your emotions. Everyone's a little different. Everyone will have a different combination of those. We will deal with that combination as we work. And that's where we get into the more specific information designed for you specifically. The third part of the program is actually a weekly stress release package. It will also come to your inbox. It's not just natural bioenergetics. It might feature tapping exercises, that might feature breathing exercises, and also some natural bioenergetics techniques used to decrease your stress levels. Everyone needs that. It does not matter if you are coming to us from this package or you have other issues. Everyone deals with stress. These are giving you some good techniques to use, put into practice in the weeks and months and years ahead. Fourthly, we're going to send you an affirmation every week. This affirmation will give you instructions on how to do it. But basically, in a nutshell, it is designed to promote positive thinking. It's designed to practice switching your mind around so that you can build confidence and empower you. It's usually just a few minutes at a time, once or twice a day, maybe 3 times. We will let you know. We'll give the instructions in the video or in the email, and you just follow it and do it. It's really quite easy, and I actually have a testimony later that I wanted to include about an affirmation. We will automatically give a free 5-session entrance into our empowerment group, which is going to start in the fall of 2020. Now, I do these on a regular basis, different types of groups. This is the one I'm going to do this fall. Empowerment is to encourage you, empowerment. My focus is to empower you to change your life. And that's what the empowerment is about. It doesn't have to be specifically to do with anxiety, depression. It could be to do with a totally different topic, like, say, marriage renewal or reclaiming your life because of a trauma or something like that. It's just generalized, and it's a good support, and you can connect with people that may or may not be going through something similar to you, and maybe they'll have good advice. We will do a session in it, a group session where everyone partakes, and then we'll have time of sharing after. And I have people that just crave these because they're wonderful. If you want to continue on in it, yes, there will be options to continue on in that later. Lastly, I will be including an SMS package through WhatsApp or Telegram, whichever you prefer. I prefer it on those and not with Facebook Messenger, because Facebook Messenger, there has been discrepancy whether they're screening stuff that we send. So please, Telegram is probably the best and the one that I encourage. Yes, there will be guidelines in this package, and I will give you those guidelines when you purchase the package. But it's there for needed support. Most people need more support, and I like to be available for my clients. Now, what is natural bioenergetics? Well, actually, first and foremost, it was actually developed by a physiological psychologist. I have taken personal training from him, and he's a wonderful man. So here are a few testimonies from some clients of mine who have experienced natural bioenergetics. We worked a little bit with natural bioenergetics with not just myself, but your sister, and also with Dr. Scott.
Yes.
And what have you found natural bioenergetics has done for you in the past?
Well, I have a lot of respect for the healthcare system, but I also realize there's so many sciences that are discovering different things about how our emotional is connected with our physical and the physiology of our body and transfer of energy. And, a lot of scientists or people who study galaxies, it's very, very complicated, very complex, right? So I found that being open-minded enough, having a couple situations, one which you're aware of, and I was just explaining this to another person, until I dealt with things and some of the word strings, but also allowing myself to become open enough to allow energy to be transferred, thinking of these thoughts, sometimes having when you give me homework to do, some of it may seem like it's a little off the wall, but some of the homework that was given to me in the past, I'll just give you, it was just very, very short. Twice a day, certain times, had to have running water flowing, and had to be able to look in the mirror and just, I'm trying to remember, this is like 3 years ago, touch certain points.
What it was.
And now I feel for people because I never have ever had any kind of, always had the kind of skin that tanned and just never had reaction to sun, never had reaction to food. But I honestly didn't realize that I had what would be almost emotional blockage.
Okay.
Like being in denial of certain emotions I was going through and trying to hold everything in and not being able to release So I had emotional channels, I believe, that were blocked. And until they became open, I practiced my little sessions that were given to me and the homework, just like you have given me in the past. That truly, within 48 hours, I went from being, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but truly, I'm being honest here. I went from feeling very helpless and hopeless and being told that I had a skin condition that was incurable. So I did have relief within 48 hours. I still have skin damage. I've lost some, I'm at the where you don't have the collagen production that, it slows down with age. But I had so much damage that, I wouldn't, the itching, the psychological way that I felt in a few instances, I had to take painkillers to be able to get through 20 minutes or an hour or 4 hours, and I was feeling very hopeless. And then that's when I did reach out for bioenergetics. And at that state, I thought, you know what? And it's like I was told by someone else, what have you got to lose? And I thought, I have to have. So I was very open-minded at that point to just like, please, if something or somehow, some way can help me, then
about stuff like that, we have no idea what it's doing, you know.
No, no. And some of the little exercise too did take me back to childhood.
Yeah.
And you think you're okay because you're healing and you've come a long ways and you've learned how to communicate and you've learned how to cope with certain emotions. You feel, and part of the testing too that came back was, it was 73% of it was stress related.
Yeah. I think I remember something like that with you. Yeah.
Yes.
How a lot of us has figured out, just as a little bit of background information, is we do muscle monitoring, formerly called muscle testing. And we figure it all out, and then we have no idea what it is. In fact, this is a beautiful technique because Michelle doesn't have to tell me what those emotional things are. She needs to talk about it on here, but she doesn't have to. She just doesn't have to tell me about it. I figure it out. She applies it to herself, and like she said, it brought her back to her childhood, right? So.
Yes.
In the past, you've used a lot of natural bioenergetics, either with myself or with our friend Cheryl. Is there anything you'd like to comment about how natural bioenergetics has worked for you in the past?
Oh man, it's done so many things for me, but if I was to speak in sort of overarching theme, I think it would be that I've experienced freedom. Good. So like in a lot of ways where my body is healthier than it's been, I don't have any health problems, and if I do, I know that I can book an appointment, and there's some real solutions where I know that wellness is going to be the focus, right?
That's good. Yeah.
And same with like mental and emotional stuff like that I'm maybe going through. It's the same thing. There's solutions, and sort of freedom and peace always has been a result of your work with me as well as Cheryl's.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
He's developed this more than 40 years ago, and in the UK, they actually call it health kinesiology. But currently in North America, mainly Canada, but I think it's starting to happen in the United States as well, we are having to change the name due to various groups legalizing or legislating certain names. When we use health kinesiology, we can no longer use the term kinesiology. We've been forced to find our own name and go through the process of eventually legislating the new name. Trademarks and many different modalities have actually been revoked, and it's not just ours that have gone through this, but many others have gone through this. I know of a couple that some friends have worked with. They've had to actually rename theirs as well. So the natural bioenergetics is a better description of what we do anyhow, and I really like what they've come up with the new name. As a comparison, I like to take natural bioenergetics and compare it to your home, specifically to the wiring in your house. Now, if any of you know what the wiring looks like in the wall behind the gyprock, there is the electricians run the lines in behind the walls, and the only inkling that you even know that they're there is the plugins or the switches. Well, first of all, that is the lifeblood of running all your lights, all your appliances, and everything else, that wiring. So the magic happens at the plugins, right? Well, I like to compare this to our bodies. Now, the acupuncturists found many thousands of years ago that there is meridians running up our body, and they're kind of like the lifeblood. It's not our nerves, it's not our circulatory system. This meridian system actually regulates everything, all of those systems in our body. And to some degree, this even includes the fascia in our body. Anyhow, if you think about it, those are like the wires running in the house. And our acupuncture points are like the switches and the plugs. That's where all the magic happens. And natural bioenergetics uses that in conjunction with either a thought or a physical thing that we have to do to elicit the magic and give your body the information it needs to fix the glitches, the blocks, the energy blocks, the transmission issues, everything within your body. And the same thing with the electrician. When he goes in and he fixes the house, he's going to go in to fix short circuits, blocks, energy transmission issues that is blocking you from getting the power you need or breaking off the power at a certain spot or whatever. He goes and fixes it. Well, we're kind of like the electricians when we go in and do that. Now,
What does it look like? Well, like I said, sometimes we take thought, sometimes it's just a repeating thought in a form that's specific for the need at that time. Or we might take a statement and think about how it applies to us or resonated in our minds or in our thought process or generate an emotion or, there's such a combination of things. Sometimes it goes as far as something more physical where we have to take a certain position that mimics something that happened in a trauma, or we have to take, I would say something like we have to tap on something, like say for allergies to decrease the allergy symptoms. It depends on the situation, and we use muscle monitoring to figure out exactly how to do it. Yes, muscle monitoring works by distance through Zoom, and actually majority of my clients now can work with me through Zoom. And then what we'll do is we'll pair that with a couple of meridians to actually make that sink in and feed that information into the body so the body can actually start to process and start to work. So what can we expect from this package? Well, first of all, I want you to know I am not a physician. I do not diagnose. I do not give you medication. I do not do anything like that. I actually do not discourage you from going to the physician. I work around all that. I work to enhance any current treatments you're doing and everything else. But outcomes, there's going to be probably 3 different groups of people and where you stand, it'll depend on what's going on inside you, what your needs are, and everything else. First of all, there's the group that's going to get moderate response. They may see some noticeable changes within this package. They are slow, steady, moving forward. That is great. That's what we want. After all, you did not get here overnight, did you? So it might take little steps all the way through. And like Shrek says, people have layers, and we are peeling layers off slowly, one by one. And that's the whole idea of it. And these people may do better with post work. Actually, most people should have a few, no matter what group you're in, should have the odd maintenance appointment after the package is done. I can tell you how to get a hold of me for that. The second group will excel greatly, and it's like, whoa, something happened here, and that's fantastic. I mean, we like to hear those stories. They will move forward, they will move ahead and never look back. This is actually the goal, but not everyone's going to get there at that place, and patience is what it takes. It is recommended that if they follow a physician's treatment of any kind, these people still continue to be monitored afterwards, because after all, if you do need to have an adjustment in treatment or medication or any protocol, the only person that can do that is actually the physician. So I highly recommend you guys to continue to have that monitoring afterwards. The third group may not notice anything at all for a while. In fact, they may just give up. And honestly, it's not that nothing's moving. There's a little saying that you may not recognize your own energy moving right off the bat, and that's okay. But often these people need to have a break. I've actually seen it where people have taken 3 to 6 months before all of a sudden something happens and there's a complete 180. And they think it's not related at all to the natural bioenergetics that was done, but actually it was. In fact, there was a fellow that I tested once, and it was a completely unrelated issue to what this package is. But we worked and we worked and we worked all winter, and I kept insisting he needed to take a break. No, you're keeping me at a plateau, he said. You're keeping me at a plateau, and I'm not getting worse. I don't want to let go of you. It's like I was a security blanket for him. He was feeling that much better. And I said, well, it says 3 months later. I muscle monitored him to 3 months later. You need to take a break because right now you're overtaxing your system. He took the break. 3 months later, he went in for a procedure. And he thought it was the procedure that triggered him. But it actually was. The doctor himself said that procedure would make you feel worse. And a light went on. He did a 180, and he's never looked back. He's a fantastic example of this situation. So don't get discouraged if you're not feeling anything right off the bat, you're not seeing anything. You might see it 3, 4, 5, sometimes even a year later. So for, months, weeks, whatever. So give it a chance. Now, for all these groups, I do encourage maintenance appointments. Those who are testing, like they need to wait till after that period. I do encourage that group that isn't progressing the way they want to continue doing daily affirmations. Go through the affirmations again, because it's not going to hurt you, because you want to encourage that positive mindset. So what do you have to lose? I encourage you to give this a shot. It's not going to hurt you. Payment options are available, so you don't have to purchase the entire package right off the bat. We do have payment options. And if those don't work for you, contact me, info@vibresonate.com, because maybe I can work something out that even works a little bit better for you. Once this package is purchased, there will not be any more charges for the duration of the package. That means as long as we're working within that package, there's going to be no more charges. After the package is over, we're maybe, with the exception of those 5 free sessions in the group session, later starting in fall 2020. So you will get an email when that's ready to go. With the exception of that, once that package is done, you will not have any extra charges. So click and learn more about how to purchase these packages. I'm looking forward to meeting you, and I have great expectations for you. And I just want to empower you to be the best person you can be. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.